All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar event. It is promptly 11 a.m. Eastern Time here. I hope everybody's having a good morning. My name is Joshua, and I'm going to be your presenter today. We're here to talk about recording or posting or how to handle creditor fees in Church Windows accounting. Before we get started on our topic, a couple things. We're going to be together for 20 minutes or so, maybe less, depending on how quickly we move through the topic. If you have questions for me, please type those into the questions portion of the control panel, webinar control panel. I'll do my best to keep an eye on those and see what I can't do to get those answered for you. You'll see a little red arrow on the sidebar of your webinar control panel that allows you to minimize the control panel, get it out of the way, or drag it over onto your second desktop if you've got a dual monitor setup. The document that I'm using as the basis for today's event can be found already on our Support Center page at our website. So here we are at churchwindows.com. If we go to Supporting, into the Support Center, or go to the Supporting and go to Videos and Documents, if we click there where it says type search by keyword, the page loads, there we go. And then here we simply type in the word creditor and click search. It brings up how to handle creditor fees, version 17 or newer, that when we click on that, here's the PDF file. We do have a video that was recorded back in June of 2017 that covers this same exact topic. So there is already a video out there. We are recording today's event, and so we will have it updated for the version 20. But essentially, folks, it's the same exact topic. It's handled exactly the same way. But I just wanted to let you know this is where we have the information available that I'm using as the printed material for the topic today. So right here under accounting, how to handle creditor fees, this is the same document I have printed and that I'm using. So you may want to print that now or after we're finished with the webinar. All right. So as the document points out, this example, this is showing how, the example shows how we would handle it on the paper. The document shows how it's using the creditor of PayPal. I've got one set up for Vanco, but you can literally treat any of them the same exact way. Anything where the amount of the net deposit is different than the amount that was received or posted. Okay, and this is particularly true when we're, commonly it occurs, most commonly when we're talking about folks giving electronically to the church from donations, and they want to record that amount, but yet that amount is different. The amount that the person gave is different than the amount that was actually deposited to our cash account. So we have to do some particularly, detailed steps in order to make that work for us. And it really boils down to, bottom line, the bank reconciliation process. Okay. I want to make the bank reconciliation in accounting as quick and easy and painless as possible, and the best way to do that is to record these fees in the manner that we're going to be showing you how to do that now. Okay, so as the document indicates, there is add a new asset account to the chart of accounts. In this case, the document shows PayPal. If we go into accounting on mine here and we go to manage account, I've added an asset account here called Vanco Clearing right here. 110-200 Vanco Clearing. That's going to be our account that we're going to use for in lieu of that PayPal asset. But again, it'll be any account name you want. One of the things that the document doesn't allude to is if you wish to have or set up a specific expense account to record those fees. So I have set up an expense called Vanco Fees Expense. You could create an expense account for that. You can you could debit an income account, the original income. It all depends on how the church wants to see those fees assessed on your accounting reports. Okay, so I've taken it one step further in this documentation and added an expense account to that we'll use here in just a moment. Okay, So it does require at least setting up the new asset account to receive the gross amount that we've received prior to the recording of the fees. Okay? So the other assumption that we've made is that we have already added or posted a batch in donations for our electronic giving, or imported that, because it would work exactly the same way no matter how that occurs. So what I'm going to show you here is it's in the middle section there on there when it says when a PayPal batch or a batch is received, use the asset account that you set up for the whole amount charged. Okay, to post the batch, you can use the new asset account either when transferring from donations or entering income in accounting. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is when that is transferred over from donations, because this is a step that folks are frequently overlook, or they don't recall, or they don't know that they can do it. So we've got a batch posted in our donations module. It's waiting to transfer to accounting. And so again, you can do this from the donations module, or we're going to do it from accounting. We're going to go to transactions in the upper left, and then right up here to the top center to transfer donations. Hopefully everybody can see that, that circle that I've drawn up there. Okay, so once we click on that, we have a batch that's exclusively, this is a batch that's separate from our regular cash and checks batch that just represents our electronic giving. That's why this stuff makes this generally so simple, is usually those EFT batches are posted with dates that don't fall on, on dates as our regular batches, or they're imported and transferred with separate dates or totals on them, or at separate times. Okay, so the assumption here is I have a $150 batch now that that's waiting to transfer. So what we have to do is when we click on this, right over here under the debit account, let me get my highlighter out, right here, debit account, it's showing my regular checking account. The reason why that is because it's showing it's gathering that information from the tab I have here called default account links. So notice everything here, with the exception of my Christmas account, is debiting or depositing to my Huntington Bank checking account. I don't want this batch to go to my Huntington Bank checking. I want it to go to my Vanco asset. I also don't need to change the default account links to change that. So the assumption is the entire batch total, and I have two items here, building general fund for $100 and building fund for $50. So what I'm going to do is right here where it says Huntington Bank, notice there's a little down arrow when I click in that debit account, and I'm just going to change this temporarily for both of these to my Vanco clearing account. Okay, so I'm transferring $150, the gross amount, that's the amount before the fees, into my Vanco clearing account. It will automatically revert back to my main checking account, the next batch that I have. Okay? Again, it always goes back to whatever's set up under the default account links tab. Okay? So now I'm ready to post. So I'm going to post that. I have to make sure it's debiting into my Vanco clearing account. Yes, indeed it is. It's also going into the proper income accounts. I don't need to do anything with the income. Those are all where that money is meant to be going. And so this is perfect. I can enter comments if I wish. I'm not going to do that. And then I would simply click post. So it then tells me, here's the accounting transaction which has been posted and created. I can print it from the posted transfers tab. Again, for the purpose of expediency and time, I'm not going to print that. But now, when I go to manage accounts, and I click on my Vanco clearing, and I click my balance tab, notice now I've got a $150 balance sitting in there in the month of April. Okay? So now we're on to making our entries to correct this and make this work the way we want it to in accounting. So let's assume that our fees charged by Vanco are 3%. So my deposit at the bank is actually only $145.50. I have to get this asset down to that amount. Okay? So what I need to do now is I'm going to go up to Transactions, Other, Now the document shows that you can go to adjust asset. You can use adjust asset. Okay, that is a journal entry too. So if you've never looked at this screen, basically it's a journal entry where it doesn't require you selecting the debits and credits. It's just either increase or decrease. Okay, and then you choose the appropriate asset and the whatever two accounts you're affecting to either increase or decrease depending on what you're posting, and then Church Windows will take care of the debits and credits for you. But I'm not going to use this today. I'm going to use the actual other and journal entry transaction because there's a great tool under our journal entry transaction that isn't available under our adjust asset to allow us to see that what we're doing is what we're wanting it to do. Okay, so we're going to choose our journal entry transaction, and we're going to backdate this to our, back to the date that we're wanting. So we'll choose April date, April 8th. That's fine. Probably wouldn't happen on a Sunday. So yeah, let's maybe make that the 9th. Let's say it happened on Monday. Okay, I can enter transaction comments if I wish. We're not going to do that for the first one here. So we're going to go, okay, we're going to choose our Vanco fees expense. We're going to be debiting that amount. So again, our 3% is $4.50 on our full 150. So we're going to debit $4.50. We're going to click the plus sign or tab down. Then we're going to choose our Vanco clearing asset, and we're going to credit that for $4.50. And I can put in certainly something like, Vanco fees. And then we're going to click Done, Add to Batch. Now, here's the tool I'm talking about, folks. I'm really big on using this in my support calls. If we now click the button called Show Running Balance, we now notice that our Vanco clearing account started with a current balance of $150. It's reduced by $450. The current adjusted balance is the $145.50, which matches the amount that we had deposited to checking. It also shows that our Vanco fees expense started with a zero balance. It was added $450 to it or debited $450 to it, and it shows the adjusted balance there. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. The final step of this is to now move the money from our Vanco clearing asset, the 100 account, to our general checking account for the amount to match our deposit. Okay. You can do the transfer. You can do as a asset transfer to do this, or we could do also a journal entry. Either one. Both of them will show up on our bank reconciliation as a deposit to clear. The advantage of posting the transfer is that when I can choose a payment method, I can't choose a payment method here. So if the payment method is of no consequence to you, you don't want to record that it was an EFT transaction, you can use the journal entry. Okay? We're going to go here. We're going to use the journal entry. So we're going to choose our checking account, Huntington Bank Checking. Again, we're going to increase that, so we're going to debit it by the $145.50. And then we're going to choose our Vanco clearing. We're going to credit that for the $145.50. That decreases the balance. I can certainly enter comments if I wish, but now when I click on Add to Batch, we now see here, and this is the really crucial part about this, folks, is that our Vanco clearing asset, the one that we transferred our full 150 into initially, showed 150 beginning current balance. Transaction effect is negative 150. The adjusted balance on that asset is 0. Okay? That is the goal. We got to get that account cleared out while also recording our necessary transactions for reporting purposes. So, it's affecting all the proper accounts that I'm wanting. It's showing up as a withdrawal from the Vanco clearing for the $145.50 and a credit to the checking account for the $145, or debit to the checking for the $145.50, and the adjusted balance is 0. I'm ready to post this transaction. Okay. Let me get my regular drawing tool back here and post. We're not going to print that. So now I do have a $4.50 expense on my treasurer's report to show what the church's expenses were for those fees. I also now have a $145.50 deposit on my bank reconciliation for April for the amount that matches my deposit. Okay? Just want to make sure under transactions, we can also do the moving of the net balance from the net deposit amount using the transfer transaction. So here I could certainly choose the Vanco clearing. I could choose my Huntington Bank checking. Okay. I could have done the same 145.50 and done the same exact thing that the journal entry did. The only difference is it's a different transaction type, and I can choose a payment method that I simply can't choose using a journal entry. But both of these entries will show up on our bank reconciliation screen to post to. And if you choose to reconcile your Vanco account or whatever your creditor fee account is, you can certainly do that. Both of the transfers or journal entries will show up as a deposit on the one account and a withdrawal on the other, however you choose to do that. Okay. That's the main difference between our transfer function, is that it allows us to choose a payment method and it's a different transaction type, but they both essentially do the same exact thing. So it's your preference. Okay. The adjust asset transaction, as I was showing you before, we're going to just discard that. If I go to adjust asset, notice there is no show running balance button here. Okay. So I can't verify that account, those transactions are having the desired effect until I either print the report or I go back in and revisit the account balances when I'm done. So that's why I'm kind of a favor of the journal entry transaction. All right, folks, that is our topic here. I hope that helps. Again, we will have the video out here on our website at some point here in the next week or so. If you have questions about it, please call us after the webinar is concluded, or if you have questions now, please type those in there into the webinar for me. I'll be happy to do what I can to answer those. Yeah, while folks are maybe typing those in, the thing that I think that folks really struggle with the most is under this transfer donations to accounting, is assuming that those donations or electronic batches, EFT batches, are posted separate from other cash and checks, is that you can, and I always encourage you to look at the text, changes to account links made on this tab are temporary for this transfer. Okay? That you can always override those accounts temporarily and it'll just go back to whatever's set up here under default account links automatically. All right, let's see. We've got a question. I have noticed that the deposits on the bank rec does not match the donations minus the fee. Okay, I'm not sure what that is, Cynthia. That might be something I need you to call me about or call us about. Because you've got to get those. Yes, the donations module doesn't record the fee amount. It records it as a positive and includes it as part of their total giving. It doesn't include it show it as a negative amount. So donations is always going to transfer whatever you have entered there, which could be the gross amount. That's why we have to go through these steps to record these fees before transferring it to checking to match our actual deposit on our bank statement. I don't know if that helps, but please call us if it does not. How do we sign up, register to participate with Vanco? That's a great question, Amy. You can, we are a partner vendor with Vanco now. You can go right to their website and register and sign up with them today. If you go to, I think Vanco Payment Solutions is their website address, www.vancopaymentsolutions.com, and let them know that you're a Church Windows customer, and they'll be happy to take care of you from there. Great question. Let me see if that's the actual URL. Vanco Payments, it looks like. Yeah, so right here we've got one called, Vanco Payments. I think if you just go to their website, folks, and go to and just type in church windows, you'll be able to find a link there. But they definitely want to hear specifically from our customers. They might even have a deal or something going for church windows customers initially. But let's see what happens if we take off church windows on that. Yeah, so here is our Vanco payment, the Vanco Payments website. Let me see here. Let's see. Do they have a search box? Let's see. They do have a search. Church windows. Let's see what we find here. Yeah, right here they found lots of things. Church windows integrated partner. There's a link. I think that takes us actually to, yeah, right here. So this is, again, one of those things where we're all integrated with them with regards to that. You can find lots of information about that. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in, folks. Let me go ahead and end the webinar. I hope it's been helpful. If you have questions, please contact us. We're happy to talk with you about it. Otherwise, we hope to see you all at a future Church Windows webinar event. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.